Hello and welcome to Namaste with Renee. I'm your host, Renee Marcou, CEO of the iHeart Academy and president of the nonprofit Brady's Foundation. In this podcast, we talk about how to enhance your wellness and disrupt the limitation mindset so you can thrive with a healthy mind, body, and spirit. Hello and welcome to Namaste with Renee. I'm your host, Renee Marcou. So thrilled to share with you my amazing friend and colleague who is here to have a juicy conversation with me about the power of the connection through the higher self. So if this is your language, if you are leaning in, make sure to turn up your volume all the way. We're going to channel some amazing conversation for you. So please help me in welcoming to the show, Jennifer Matthews, who is the founder of Super Conscious Success. She's a spiritual coach and a law of attraction practitioner and naturopath. So Jennifer, thank you so much for coming to Namaste with Renee. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on today, Renee. I am so thrilled to be here to talk to your listeners about my absolute passion and my absolute love for this life, which is that of connection and also of the higher self. Now, my journey has actually started. I'm actually a naturopath. That's where it all sort of started, because I've had this passion for health and wellness for a lot of years. And so I started as a naturopath, and I've got two kids, and my kids are 18 and 20 now. So they're kind of independent, and you know, my daughter's running her own business, and so there's lots of really cool stuff going on. But I was working out of the home. The kids hated going to aftercare. And so I was actually working as a naturopath and a massage therapist, a remedial massage therapist. And so I was having to work in a clinic, and I was working back to back every night. I was doing about 6 or 7 remedial massages a day.
Wow.
And I was working so hard that I ended up burning out. And I ended up getting to the point of actually getting autoimmune thyroid disease. So I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's about 8 years ago. And then I remember going to the doctor, and, you know, as doctors do, they say, you've got to take this medication and you're going to be on it the rest of your life. And I remember at that point turning around and saying, no, I won't.
No.
And so I walked out of there, and, you know, I've never been a big one for medication. I take them if I need to. Anyway, so I managed to reverse the Hashimoto's myself, just with natural therapies.
Yes.
And then, because the kids were so miserable and it was just taking a lot of time, and I burnt myself out so much, I almost lit the house on fire, actually, which was not a good move. So, because I was so tired. Anyway, so I decided that I was going to start working from home. And I built a business where I interviewed experts all over the world on nutrition and wellness and fitness, and because I'm a personal trainer as well, so it kind of all seemed to meld together, and I loved it. I wrote 8 books, and I really had an amazing time, until one day I woke up and I felt empty. There was just like this feeling of, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing anymore. And this is what most of us will notice, is when spirit says to you, you're on the wrong path, it's time for you to divert and move somewhere else. So I realized what my passion was mindset. So because I loved podcasting and I loved interacting with other people, I decided that I would start interviewing on the topic of goal setting and mindset and productivity and wealth creation, all that sort of stuff. And I did that for about 1.5 years until Spirit had other plans for me. And I woke up one morning and I realized I still wasn't on the right path. So then I realized spirituality was where I wanted to be, and I haven't looked back. It's been a journey of total self-discovery, going through an entire year of dark night of the soul last year. And realizing that I've come from a religious background. Like I'm Anglican, but my nan was very religious growing up. But I'm very spiritual, and I realized from when I was very young that I always carried that around with me. And then when I was about 11 years old, I'll quickly go into this story because this is when I truly remembered really connecting with source and with my higher self. And when I was about 11 years old, I used to grow up in Aboriginal communities in the outback Australia. And so we were in this community and it had been rained in. So there were no doctors that were able to come into the community. There was no medical, barely any medical supplies. My dad was actually trained to give injections for boys that were going through a particular process that's for the Aboriginal boys. And they used to get a lot of infections. So he was trained to do that. Well, I went out with my friends one day and we went down to the local waterhole and we decided to have a bit of fun down there. I came back and everything was all great until the next morning when I woke up with the most pounding migraine that I've ever had, stiff neck, vomiting all over the place. My dad was having to put me in the bath, fever over like 42, and we had no doctors in the community. And so he rang up the medic and he said, look, what's going on here? And he said, she's got bacterial meningitis. And if you don't get some of this into her quickly, then she's going to die. And he went, oh no, I've used the last vial of vaccine that was in the fridge. And so, of course, my parents are freaking out. And then, I said, just look, please just see if there's another one there. Well, he went into the fridge and tucked behind something in the door was one more vial of the vaccine. So, of course, he gave that to me and I was within 20 minutes, literally, I was better. It worked so quickly. It was like the most strongest penicillin you can have. And at that time, I remembered praying to my angels and hearing them say, you're going to be okay. And that was the very first time that I recognized that I was connected on a deep level and that I was actually looked after. So because of this, the power of connection is so important to me. And my higher self now, we have such a strong bond that we, as you would know, Renee, because you have all this happening too, there is nothing like when you get these downloads that are just, everything seems to just be moving through you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to, and with your whole heart that you're connected.
Yeah.
So this is why my passion now is talking to people about the power of connection. And it's about helping people to discover how they can connect with other people, connect with source and their higher self, and most importantly, connect with that person that's in that mirror. Yeah. So that's where I come from.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so beautiful. And what a journey, like knowing even so young to have your source and your angels to be there for you and to protect you and help you out of that situation. I really do believe my grandmother imparted upon me and my mom both to have a spiritual, understanding as a young girl too. And those are big, big reasons why I'm at where I am today with my spiritual connection as well. And I know what it's like when you don't exercise the bond, and really talk to and ask for service and all these, just communication. I did shut it out for like 2 years of my life. And those were the 2 darkest years of my life. And I know what it's like to be so encompassed in the love from the universe, source, however anyone here associates with that. So spirituality is just such a beautiful piece to who we are. And to me, it just brings such an ease and flow into your daily life.
It does.
Know that you have this source that you can call upon and you can, say thank you to at night and pray to and ask for the next steps or the next, project or service or whatever it is. And it's just such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm thankful every single day for the journey that I've been on. And no matter what difficult situations come up in my life, I start to recognize that there's a lesson behind every single thing that comes into your life.
Yeah.
And once you just start to have that trust and that faith that all's going to be well, and that there is a reason it's happening to you. There is a reason it's happening for you. And that's the thing. Once we stop sort of like complaining and we stop going, why is this happening to me? We can start to appreciate the lessons that's within that. Exactly. So, and that's something that, you know, I think we all face every single day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I think that when you have that new, that adoption of that belief that it's happening for you, life around you is happening for you. It's either if you're focused and you're creating a life around you that really doesn't feel good, like that's just a signal of, hey, you're focusing on the contrast to what it is that you genuinely want, or you have so much resistance built around you that you aren't accessing the tools that you can in order to actually create the life you want. I know, I talk about manifesting all the time.
Yeah.
The community knows I talk about manifesting all the time. And that's one of the topics that we always share upon is, if there's something blocking, like if there's something in your life that genuinely doesn't feel right, like let's send that thing love and then find the gift in all of it, and then be able to refocus where you want to be going. And it's so powerful to not only just have that in the mindset and have that be your norm, if you will, but also having that source, having that connection and that trust. I can feel when I have clients who are full 2 feet in, believe in it highly that the universe got their back. And I can when I have clients who are like, I'm just dipping my toe, but I'm not really sure. Like, and you can sense that. So one thing I wanted to ask you is would you be willing to share for the listeners a tool or technique to help them really build that trust and that bond with spirituality or source?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, I mean, I'm a massive meditation fan. I mean, when I'm channeling my higher self, I do a lot of meditation. But what I want to say to the listeners is that the harder you try, the harder it's going to be to connect with your higher self, because there's that resistance. Okay. In order to be able to connect with your higher self, you need to detach, you need to let go, you need to just trust that your higher self is there at all times. And I'm sure that listeners, you have been listening to Renee, the beautiful Renee, that for a long time. So you will understand when she talks about manifestation. You'll understand when she talks about, about detachment and about how important it is that we trust in the universe. But when it comes to our higher self, we have to recognize that our higher self is our biggest fan. It is that highest part of us that believes in us no matter what. It is what I call my best friend. It is that part of me that if I'm feeling a bit down, then my higher self's not looking at it like that. If something's happening in my life and I've gone on the negative train, because we all do that sometimes, my higher self doesn't see it like that. So if you start to look at things from the way your higher self might look at it, then you start being able to connect on a deeper level. Now, I love mirror work. I don't know if you do mirror work, Renee.
Yes.
But I love it. And I think that what I find doing mirror work, I was able to actually start to connect on a deep level with my higher self, because when you're looking in the mirror, and for those that don't know, mirror work is basically when you stand in front of a mirror and you actually talk to yourself in the mirror, and you try to give yourself a lot of positive affirmations, and you talk to yourself as though you're talking to your best friend. And what I find is that when I'm looking in that mirror and you're looking in your own eyes, you're actually looking into your higher self. You're actually looking into your soul.
Yeah.
And I love it. It is so powerful to be in that space where you can feel that the vibration is raising. You can feel that the more you throw, these these affirmations at yourself, because you've got to remember that if I could say one thing for people, it is that self-love is so important. And the person that you see in that mirror has got to be your best friend. It's got to be that person that you know that you can rely on. It's got to be that person that you can look in that mirror and go, I love you and you are amazing. And you know, you are successful and you are, you know, a light to this world. You've got to be able to say that to yourself and mean it. Because God put us here and every single one of us here is perfect. So no matter what you're going through, we're all a gift to this planet. We're all a gift to, and no matter who you're in touch with, we're going to come across all different types of people in life. And some of them are going to drive us crazy. And some of them we're going to connect with immediately. But you've got to have that relationship with yourself, because when you are connected with your higher self, you don't have the, you know, even if these people come into contact with you, you know that you're always going to be fine. You know, it's if I could say, working on that self-love is so critical, and making sure when it comes to, I'm giving a number of different tips. I know you said just one.
Bring it on. We love it.
I'm kind of going on a rant here.
Love this.
But I would say that, and Renee would say this too, vibration is of utmost importance. And so being able to remain in a high vibration, no matter what's thrown at you, and understand that when we vibrate at a high level, then that's when we're going to be able to manifest. And our higher self lives on a very high vibrational plane, as do our angels, as do our spirit guides, our ascended masters, any of the spiritual realm that you're wanting help with. You know, I connect with my angels daily and I ask for their guidance. Same with the ascended masters, because, you know, they're there to help us. They're there to help us to be able to live the best life that we can, because the life is just a game. Life is just an opportunity for us to learn and for us to experience, and for God to experience through us. So why not have fun? We're all going to have, I mean, and Renee knows this because she does lots of traveling, and that's a massive part of her life. And, you know, so if we're able to have fun, stay in joy, find something that you enjoy, find something that lights you up. You know, I love music. If I'm feeling a bit down, I have my favorite playlist, which has got all of the most positive, uplifting, optimistic songs on, and I'll dance around. I don't care. I don't care who thinks I look nuts. But it's important. Find something you love. If you're feeling a bit down, watch a good comedy. Or you know, listen to some comedians on stage. They crack me up all the time.
Me too. Huge,
you know, so I think totally. And I think finding something that lights you up, I like to have a list of things. If I'm feeling a little bit down, I can look at this list and go, oh, that one, you know, that one can kind of pull me out of that. That one can kind of pull me out of that. And that will raise your vibration. It allows you to then manifest more with ease and with grace.
Yes, absolutely. I love that so much. Thank you for all of these shares. They're so helpful. It's really true. It's like every day you might feel different, like, or even parts of the day you might, you know, feel like, okay, I'm going to go be in nature. I want to feel abundant. Let me go to nature and observe nature. Like, okay, I want to feel peaceful. Okay, let me, you know, take a walk over to the beach and watch the waves. I mean, you can find anything in so much.
Absolutely.
So have to be those two. But there was something that you said that I heard this idea come through where, you know, how you said like the angels and the archangels, like they're all here to support you. One thing I want to share with the listeners is that they're always there to support you, but you do want to make the ask. You want to bring in their energy. Like that was something that I learned young, because I mean, yes, they're always there too. And of course there's miracles where they're already in your space,
but they will not intervene. They will not intervene unless you ask.
Exactly. Yes. And that was something that came out as important to share to listeners today, because, you know, some people just like can look at others and think, oh, wow, they just like have it all. They like their spirituality game is on point, or, you know, whatever, they must have angels all around them all the time. It's like, this is an exercise muscle. It's not that it's like, I'm the lucky one and show me all the goods, universe. You know, it's like that person like who has that who you perceive as having that does put that energy and effort forth and calls forth that spiritual energetic, if you will. So
absolutely, because we do have such a thing as free will, and so our angels and our ascended masters, they're there, and they're there waiting for you. Okay, they're there knowing that, you know, if you call upon them and you ask them for help, and you know, whether you're asking Archangel Michael for or Michael, depending on how you want to say it, for protection, for strength, for security. I remember when my daughter was at high school and she was going through a bit of a stage where there was bullying that was happening, and I remember a number of times asking Archangel Michael to just look after her that day and just to protect her that day, just to make sure that she was all okay. And she came home and she had the best day that she had had.
Amazing.
And it was just that belief and knowing. Archangel Raphael, we know that he's real good for healing. So if you're needing healing, if you're sick or a loved one is sick, you can wrap them in a green or a gold cloak, and or even pink sometimes, which allows him to actually begin the healing process. We've got Gabriel. He or she. They don't actually have a masculine or feminine, but we kind of resonate with certain energies as masculine or feminine. But Gabriel, you know, is the communication. So if you're having trouble speaking to somebody, or you're having trouble communicating effectively, then Gabriel's one that you can call upon for that. So there's lots of different angels that you can call upon that will actually allow you to be that, you know, help you with whatever issues are going on at that particular time. So it's a really powerful tool that you can use to be able to get into that space of high vibration. But you do have to ask. It's not something that you can just sit there and go, why aren't they helping me?
Yes, exactly. Thank you for that. And thank you for sharing about the particular angels that came to your mind to share about as well. Thank you for that. That was really a treat for this episode. For sure. Thank you.
Well, I love the angels. And actually you had Eleni on a little while ago, didn't you? Yes. So now Eleni's a close friend of mine, just like she is with Renee, and we're actually collaborating on a program which is actually called Higher Self Mastery.
Oh my God.
And so that is really something that we're constructing to help people to connect with that higher self, to help people to become, you know, best friends with that higher self. And so we're really excited about it. That also does go into the angels and the ascended masters. And something that I absolutely love is like the animal guides.
Me too.
I absolutely love it. And I'm actually looking at doing a series of little books, which is going to have all of the different animal guides and the spirit guides and the ascended masters that people can use as references. Because what I was finding, and this is really strange, as you start to go through your spiritual journey, as you start to be able to connect with your higher self, or to be able to connect with source, you'll start to notice a lot of synchronicities starting to happen. And you'll notice a lot of, maybe I see 1-1-1-1 all the time. It's like nonstop. I got into the car the other day and my husband and I were going for a walk, get into the car, it's 11:11. I went, great, always love it, because when you see 1111, always make a wish.
Yes.
Okay, because that's the time when the angels are saying, okay, you know, you're open, you're receptive to the universe. Yes. Make your wish now. So I get in the car, then we go for our walk. I get back in the car, it's 111.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, let's make another wish.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah. And then that night I looked at the clock, it was 11:11 again. And I'm going, what is going on here? This is crazy. So you'll start to notice a lot of really fun things like that. I was sitting down the other day and hubby and I were talking, because we work together a couple of days a week, and we were talking, and all of a sudden this little ladybug is going across the table. But it wasn't the normal ladybug. It looked different. And it started crawling on my hand. And, you know, and then, so of course I had to go back and look at all the different meanings of all the different animals that are out there. And then, you know, and then I have a lot of birds and stuff that seem to come up to you, and every animal has a message.
Yes.
And I just love it. And so I thought, I'm going to write this series of books that will give people somewhere they can go that'll just, this happened to me today.
Literally,
you know,
that is truly
so cool.
Brilliant. And I'm so excited for that book, because even for all people of all ages, kids, adults, like that is such a cool way to experience the signs and welcome more in and like understand them too.
Yeah,
I think that's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'll be a reader for sure.
Awesome. So, I mean, and as I was going through our program and we were creating the content, and I sort of did a little section on each of the different, you know, the ascended masters, the angels, archangels, all of them. And I went, I'm really loving this. Like, this is something I'm really, really quite passionate about. Butterflies have always been my thing.
Me too.
And they have special meanings. So it'll be really cool to have that available for people to be able to check up and see what's kind of going on in their lives.
Definitely. I love that so much. And like I was saying earlier, I just so appreciate that you even dove into some of the meanings of angels and why they're here for you and what their special forte is and how they can love, protect, or support each and every one of us when we call upon them.
Absolutely. And what we've got to remember is with the angels is there are a number of archangels, as we spoke about, but there are also a lot of what we call working angels. And these are the angels that they're waiting to be asked to do everyday jobs. And this is something I've actually practiced. And, you know, I've had angels that have helped me find things. I've had angels that have helped fix technological issues that have popped up. You know, if you just ask them, and you can create a whole team. You know, if I'm having trouble, I'm writing my book or something and I'm kind of stuck, then you ask for those downloads. And the best thing that I love about being so connected to source and to the higher self is when you start to receive downloads and it feels like everything that you're doing, like I've done a project and then I've gotten to the end of the project and gone, I don't even remember doing it. Wow. It was like it just flows straight through you, and it is so powerful. And you know, it really just takes you just letting go and just trusting and knowing that your higher self is always there. It's like unlimited love. That's all it is. Yeah. Stay in a high vibration, trust that it's going to come to you, meditate. And if you're getting signals, if you're getting those little voices in the head, or you've kind of got that feeling, because some people feel things, some people hear things. It just depends on the individual. But if you're starting to feel things, because I feel when I'm getting a message. And so if you're starting to get that, don't ignore it. Because if it's something that it feels good, because people often say, well, what's the difference between how do you know if it's the higher self talking or the ego talking? And you've got to remember that the ego is talking from a place of trying to protect you, but in so doing, it's not necessarily for your best interest. Okay, so if you're starting to, the thoughts that are coming into your head are doubt, or anything that's like going to get you out of your comfort zone, that's your ego talking. If it's your higher self, remembering that your higher self believes in you 110% and knows that you can do anything that you put your mind to, then that's your higher self talking. So, and at that point, like there are some days that my higher self will say, because I always ask in the morning, higher self, please lead me to the thing that is going to be of the most value today. And, you know, some days it'll be like, okay, you're going to work on this project. And other days it'll be, you're going to work on nothing, but you're going to go and meditate for 3 hours, because that's where you're going to be able to get all of your inspiration and your downloads and all that sort of thing. So listen to what your higher self has to say, because as you said before, Renee, when we first started this, you feel like you're just in that flow when this happens.
Yes, exactly. It's like
so
all
cool.
resistance has been removed and you are just totally flowing. It's so beautiful.
I love it.
I know you know this too. That's how I created my life coaching certification program. It was literally a download. Never even saw myself doing this in my life, but okay, cool. Like, here we go, universe. I'm here.
Absolutely. And you know what? Miracles. It will put you, and it will put you out of your comfort zone. I did a summit last year where I interviewed 60 odd people for the summit. And it was so much fun, but it put me out of my comfort zone. When I first started my very first interview, well, of course, that puts you out of your comfort zone. But now I've got massive projects with my Superconscious Success Academy and the Universal Consciousness workshops, which is all about creation. It's all about bringing all of us creators together. It's about bringing all of us light workers and star seeds together so that we can bring as much value to you guys, to all the listeners as we possibly can. Because once you are in that light space, once you see the light, once you're with the light, there's nothing like it. There's no going back.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. This has been an amazing, juicy conversation.
It has. And I've had so much fun, Renee. You're always so much fun.
Thank you. And same to you. I'm just so like, wow, like Jennifer's really indulging in all these cool things. So I'm certainly going to continue to follow you as I always have. Let all the listeners know where they can find you.
Okay, so there's a number of different places that you can find me. Superconscioussuccess.com is my main site. I do have the Superconscious Success podcast, which has a number of different segments. It's got a couple of hundred different episodes. It's a lot of fun. Renee's been on the Your Spiritual Shift segment with myself and Carl. And that was way fun as well. And actually, I've got to have you back on for an interview with me, because that's going to be so much fun too. Especially now that you've got all your life coaching and stuff going. I'm just in the process of, I've got a lot going on. I love collaborating because I believe that if we can become a team and we can, put all of that love together, then we can create some amazing stuff. And that's everybody. And so I created 2 different platforms. I created the Superconscious Success Academy, which I'm just building up. That's going to be a compilation of courses and programs and all sorts of things spiritually based. And then the Universal Consciousness Workshops one is another one I'm just creating, which is going to be, summits and workshops and webinars, and all my content creators can come on there. All of my light workers, my star seeds, all of my amazing friends out there can come on there, and we can all work together to help the consciousness of our planet, which is the aim.
Oh, I love that. I love your mission so much. This is what
so
I do.
Much fun.
Too. So yes, so amazing. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for being here with me in this space and joining this network. And to all of the amazing listeners, I hope that you have enjoyed this conversation as much as we have. And be sure to take all of these gorgeous golden nuggets with you throughout your life, knowing that you can create your outer reality, your inner reality at any time. It's every single moment you have a new choice to do that. So many blessings to each and every one of you. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Thank you for being here, y'all.
Namaste.